Welcome back to another episode of the episode. Let's just start this over. Welcome back to another episode of the Loyalists podcast. We're your hosts, Jake Gibson and Sam Palumbo. Episode 30. Shout out Steph Curry. And we're not slowing down anytime soon. Sam, how are you this week?
Steph Curry may be slowing down, so maybe we are.
Something to monitor.
I'm good. It's just cold, and that's miserable. But it's the holiday season, so that's fun.
Fun and not fun. I love giving gifts. I don't love the act of getting gifts.
Right.
Once you have, a huge family, I always was the guy that had like a huge extended family, and now I have like 10 nieces and nephews. So it's super fun. No kids of my own, but always being the fun uncle, getting all the gifts. So it's a great time. Just a lot of time taken out of my December to get some gifts for kids under 10 years old. But it's okay. I'm sure they'll appreciate it for a nice 12 hours and put it down and never see it again.
I'm sure Amazon's reported you for your buying habits. Just very suspect history, I think Cyber Monday is a scam, and I think it's something to monitor. I try to get all my holiday shopping done on Cyber Monday, but the deals were absolutely awful. I didn't find one deal that was appetizing, and then they're extending Cyber Monday to the whole week, and then at that point, it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You have given me shit for this before. I'm not an Amazon guy. Me and nobody else. I'm not like standing on that take or dying on that hill. I have Prime for like the movie content, but I don't get anything.
That can't be true. That is one of the worst takes I've ever heard. Saying you have Amazon Prime for the content that it has. That is crazy.
I wanted to watch Mad Men. All right, give me a break.
Oh my god.
No, I don't. No, dude, I would go to Five Below to get a present before shopping on Amazon. Unfortunately, that's just me. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but Bezos doesn't need any of my money. He's got plenty.
See, I thought you were going to be on the list for buying, young kids' toys. No, you're on a list because that's your take about Amazon. I have Amazon Prime for the movie content. That's crazy.
Maybe that just means I shouldn't have Amazon Prime at all. But um, listen, I probably get one order a year, and maybe when I am living in a house of my own, that'll change. But I don't order anything really for gifts unless there's a crazy deal. Sometimes I browse deals of the day, but really don't pick up too much on there. And I know I'm alone. All right, don't come for me because that's just a me thing. I'm not proud of it. I'm neutral.
That's just a horrific take, but that's all right. It's not a big deal. If Amazon wants to come sponsor us, I'm sure that we can convert Jake. Yeah, that's just a horrific take, and that's okay. We all have those.
I'm playing hardball. That's all. I'm waiting for them to sponsor us to start buying from Amazon. Um, I prefer DHgate. It's much better quality and quicker deliveries. So something we should probably go over. Champions League round of 16 is ready. The bracket is not produced yet, but the pots are ready. With the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds. So pot 1, which is the teams that won their group and have the first home game, right? Or they have the second home game.
I don't even know.
Good. So we'll get that. Get the producer on that. Pot 1 has Bayern, who are just probably the best team in the world right now. I never know with Bundesliga teams, but they are flying. Dortmund, Arsenal, City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Sociedad, and Atletico Madrid. So 4 Spanish teams, 2 English teams, and 2 German teams. And then in pot 2, we have PSG. These are the potential opponents for the last teams. PSG, Inter, Lazio, Napoli, Porto, Leipzig, Copenhagen, and PSV Eindhoven. So the only if your team is in pot 1, the only team that they cannot play against is the 2 seed from their group. So Arsenal, for example, they can draw any of the teams aside from PSV Eindhoven. Um, so I'm excited for that. I'm not sure when the drawing takes place. Do you know, Sam?
Usually when they do the pots, it's the next day. So
Oh,
my guess
awesome.
would be the draw would be tomorrow. I think they actually do it with the Europa League after it. So my guess is once the Europa League games happen tomorrow, they'll do the drawing. Um, our producer's struggling to find out if pot 1 means you have that home first leg, but just remember there's no home and away goals anymore, so it doesn't matter nearly as much as it used to. Um, which is good because that rule was the worst and no one liked it. So, um,
So the draw is actually at 12 CET, Central Europe time. Is that what that is? Um, on Monday the 18th. So this upcoming Monday, we'll have our Champions League bracket, which is super exciting as an Arsenal fan. It's been years.
Central European time.
Cool, cool. So that's your Champions League corner. This was largely a uneventful Champions League midweek madness sesh because a lot of the stuff was wrapped up. City, Arsenal, Real Madrid all had their groups wrapped up. United had a real off chance of getting in. I think the fans are glad that they got last and not third, so they don't have to be in Europa. Ten Hag taking some serious heat, which is kind of late for me. I feel like this. I didn't expect anything, even if they were playing well, from this point, for them to get into the round of 16. They would have had to beat Bayern, and they would have had to hope Galatasaray and Copenhagen drew. They underperformed the majority of the Champions League group, much to our slander that we've discussed. I don't think he'll be sacked yet. There was an article that I quoted on the Loyalist Pod Twitter today from The Athletic, basically saying what the status is. So they have an interim CEO right now named Patrick Stewart, and he only got the job as interim CEO 1 month ago, so it's pretty unlikely that he would just take that interim role and sack the manager. Um, they also have a football director who, since the takeover started to occur, he's lost more and more bandwidth in the club, so he doesn't really have the pull to make the sack. And Ten Hag has 18 months left on his deal. He would need around 15 million pounds of compensation. And due to the lack of revenue they accrued from the first round of the Champions League, the group stage, they budgeted to make the quarterfinals. Not sure why they budgeted that, but they are down like 76 million, and they only have around 40 million pounds remaining on their revolving credit facility. So all reports from the inside are that United are not actively looking for a new manager. So I don't anticipate a sacking. The only thing I could see is if Ratcliffe takes over with Ineos Sports Group, assesses, if whenever that takeover occurs, assesses over the next month after that, and then decides to put in his own guy, which I feel like a new owner or a new decision maker, rather, because Glazers are going to still have the majority of the ownership. I feel like that's best case scenario if I'm a United fan. If an owner notoriously in sports wants his guy or her guy, um, but I, I otherwise Ten Hag's staying. That's how I anticipate or and interpreted the article. So there's your ETH status.
I don't understand fans of United that are happy they didn't make Europa League.
No, because I would feel the same way.
See, they're not going to make top four though in this year's Premier League. That's just not going to happen. I just have
I guess,
I have
but
odds.
Saliba.
Go ahead.
I said I guess, but Saliba lost our title chances because of a stupid Europa League game. So I just hate that competition and don't want to ever be involved in it again.
Yeah, but
But I understand.
they're not gonna make top four. Um,
Yeah, they need the revenue from that. That's a good point.
uh, Man City. These are all odds to make the top four. I just pulled them up because I've been shocked with the amount of United fans that are arrogant enough thinking they're too good for the Europa League because they're not. Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Tottenham, United. That is the order that Vegas thinks uh, is most likely to get a top four finish. United are plus 650 to have a top four finish this season. That just means it's not going to happen for them. Europa League would give them an off chance to snake into the Champions League, but I mean, without Europa League, they don't have a chance of really anything. Um, I mean, I think they're going to be clawing to get Europa League next year.
So to get Europa, what are their odds of top six?
Um,
They would be, I would assume, they're behind Tottenham and Newcastle
they're
still.
they're plus money to make the top
Wow.
six, plus one
Jeez.
ten.
Dire times. Um, so are they behind Tottenham and Newcastle
Oh yeah,
and Brighton?
no, Chelsea then Brighton. Chelsea being plus 250 to win top six. Seek help. Seek help if
So
you.
they have the seventh. Well, I'm sure they don't even have odds for City, but they're behind Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, Tottenham, Newcastle. Right.
Yes,
Yikes. Yikes. I guess you're right. They probably should have, hoped for that. But even if they wanted Europa, they would have had to beat Bayern. So, um yeah. I don't know. It's tough times. I feel for my Man United fan friends. I don't think Ten Hag's going anywhere, but then again, they play Liverpool soon this weekend. They could get battered and maybe it just happens, but I don't know. It would be tough to fire him and owe him 15 million pounds out of the 40 that they have on their credit roll. So I doubt it.
how can you, as a United fan, continue to watch Eric Ten Hag play Anthony and continue to advocate for him when he may be one of the worst players in the Prem? And he not only gives him Prem minutes, but also gives him Champions League minutes.
I just don't think they have any other options. Otherwise, he has to swallow his pride and just change the example he's set with Sancho and just be like, okay, we need you now, so come on back. And that just definitely would lose their locker room because then he would just be a spineless fuck. So you can't start Palestri because out of all the guys I've seen, he is definitely not it. Um, but yeah, Anthony is. I would be so frustrated if he was on Arsenal. He is so poor. I don't know. I just don't know who else he would play. I guess change the formation like we called for earlier in the season is the answer. But he doesn't really want to do that.
I just hate the idea that like who would you play next on the depth chart? Like I hate that narrative because you can find players either in the academy or in your squad that deserve minutes compared to a guy that doesn't deserve minutes like Anthony. Um,
Or just pull a Luton and sign Townsend or Ross Barkley off waiver wires.
oh, get those men back in the Champions League. I love that.
I agree with you though. There's more options than you think. I mean, Mainu they just stumbled upon.
Exactly.
They definitely have more options than we're probably giving them credit for. Yeah, anybody deserves a shot over Anthony. I don't know how you can continue to in good faith. Like if he starts him for the next 5 games, I'm just gonna be like con- seriously confused because he's woeful. Like he's a truly woeful player. Plus he was what 85 million pounds. Like at some point, just give up. He's so much worse than Pepe. It makes me so mad.
He is so much worse than Pepe. Yeah, uh, that's it's crazy. It's hard to watch. It really is. If I played Sunday League with him, I'd just be doing 2-footed tackles into him all the time when he's doing 11 step overs and not moving anywhere.
It's Saturday League, actually, Sam.
It's true.
Um, but that's enough Manchester United talk. Makes me sick. Let's let's get into the match week. I think we kind of got a good one. I like a lot of these games. So we start off Friday. Friday games are back. This is going to go out to Thursday evening, so tomorrow. Um, Nottingham Forest hosting Tottenham. Uh, Tottenham are pretty big favorites. I would expect them to take home 3 points with how Nottingham Forest have been. They got a result last weekend, but Tottenham are kind of back on the up and up. Um, it took them a while to figure out, and they had a tough string of games, but it took them a while to figure out how to play with this injured squad. They started depending so heavily on Madison and in defense Van de Ven, and they lost both of them within like 2 matches. But they're starting to figure it out. Credit to Ben Davies. I thought that guy was like done. He's been playing center back sometimes, and he's been really impressive. I'm pretty sure they haven't even needed Dyer in some of these games because Romero's back. So credit to Ben Davies. I like Tottenham in this game. I don't expect any rattiness.
Yeah, I think Forest just aren't a very good side. Spurs very impressive result against Newcastle where Son looked absolutely world class again. Just don't know how Forest are going to be dealing with that. Steve Cooper saved his job by securing a draw, even though there were reports that he needed to win that game. Um, I just don't. I think it could come to an end here for Forest. Could be full rebuild after this one. Tough time to get Spurs after they figured it out against Newcastle. It's at Forest, but I expect Spurs to take care of business.
Yeah, I would be surprised with any other result. So I don't know. I don't know about taking Spurs though. You? Any interest in that?
I would be interested in Spurs. I think just
They did
Force have
a
not done anything inspiring for a long time. I mean, the number seems short, right? I feel like
Yeah.
minus 140. I feel like that's just not a big enough number for what it should be. I thought it would be minus 250, something like that. So that's the only thing that gives me pause.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that means it's going to be a little bit like maybe not a fraudulent win, but a little bit difficult for Tottenham. More difficult than we're thinking. I mean, it is like a last hitch effort for Steve Cooper, right?
Right.
So we'll see. We'll deliberate that once we get into the picks. And then it's time, Sam. It's time for our team. It's time for our cherries. They got Luton at home, and they're minus 200, and Luton are plus 500. We put these teams in the same category in the beginning of the season after the first couple match weeks, and I need to post out a meme of Bournemouth, their logo on Michael Jordan's face, saying, and I took that personally because they took it personally. The Cherries are fucking good. They're balling, and they are minus 200, which I didn't think I'd ever see. And they're against Luton, who like kind of are in need of a letdown spot even after losing those games. So I'm just ready to hammer our Cherries.
Yeah, I think it's a really tough trip for Luton. Bournemouth playing really good ball. That minus 200, I think it says everything you need to know. Bournemouth are finally getting the respect they deserve coming off that very inspiring performance against United at Old Trafford. I expect Bournemouth to handle this Luton team. What honestly would be intrigued by some alt spreads in this spot. Luton, there's got to be some air let out of that team after two results where it felt like they were in games against Arsenal and City and had nothing to show for it. I think Bournemouth could really make things interesting for Luton.
as much shit as we give United, if they can beat United at Old Trafford 3-0, what can they do to Luton at home, right? Um, I'd be interested in that as well. We'll take a look. Chelsea hosting Sheffield. I don't know, man. What are Sheffield plus 1,200? Is it worth it? You gotta wonder.
I I think Chris Wilder is going to have these guys buzzing for a little bit. So this game worries me. Chris Wilder, famously their old manager, they just brought him back. Let's get the vibes going again. Um, but listen, they got a result, so like their Sheffield isn't dead. I thought they'd kind of roll over this season, and they haven't done that. So just Chelsea stink. So nothing about that intrigues me. Depending on a Cole Palmer penalty, no thanks. Especially if they're just refusing to play Raheem Sterling. Chelsea are dead to me, so no thanks.
We have very different, not me and you, but like us as a podcast, we have very different discourse about Chelsea than we do about United. I'm not sure if it's level of hatred. I'm not sure if it's different level of expectations. If you're a United fan, is there any level of at least we're not Chelsea for you?
Yeah, I imagine so. Chelsea just continue to buy players, and those players continue to disappoint. And you don't know if that's the manager, you don't know if that's the organization, you don't know if it's the recruitment process in general, but really, Chelsea's best player is Raheem Sterling, someone that City discarded, and they spent so much more money than Raheem Sterling. And they basically, to me, have no actual tangible pieces that I would say we're going to hold on to this player, and he's going to be a staple of our squad. I mean, Reece James is the player that Chelsea fans cling to and say that he's going to be the staple, their captain. Guy can't stay fit. So they're in a bad way.
Yeah, I mean he's hurt again. Apparently it's hamstring again, and I think it's going to be months. So that's worrisome. I guess you can hang your hat on Cole Palmer, but we really don't know what he is fully. If that's where you're at, you're probably in a dark place. I mean, they're still depending a lot on Thiago Silva being like world class, which is tough.
Guy's 39. It's unbelievable that he's still playing. He's not a bad player, but just not what he used to be. And can you blame him? The guy's 39. Um, I just, I just strongly dislike this Chelsea team, and every time we feel like they're going to perform, they don't. And I rate Pochettino, but I think things could get very, very precarious for him. Also of note, this week, Premier League clubs voted to not allow player amortization to go over 5 years. So Chelsea's transfer policies that have been able to kind of curb financial fair play are going to come to an end, which is a tough blow for them.
David Ornstein made sure to tweet in his main post about that Chelsea also voted to not do it because they won't be back. This rule won't be backdated, so it won't. Basically, it can't hurt them going backwards, but they'll never get to do what they just did again. That makes me feel like Chelsea know that they towed the line. Um, so whatever. You know who else is 39? LeBron James, and he's still winning in season tournaments. You know who didn't win an in season tournament? Michael Jordan. And LeBron's been saying since he was 8 years old that he wanted to win the in season tournament. So that's a big thing. Um,
Oh my god.
um, that's enough Chelsea talk. They suck. We won't be taking Sheffield. Maybe double chance. I don't know. Maybe it's worth a look. Um, Man City Palace. Man City probably won't have Holland, right? And they're coming to the Etihad's Palace are, and I see no light for Palace in this spot at all.
Is it a
Okay,
bad thing that City doesn't have Holland?
in some games, yeah, but not in this one.
I think they'll be fine. I think they'll thoroughly beat Palace. I think Palace are really poor. And a side like City, it's exactly what Palace traditionally play City hard, but that was old Palace teams with Wilfred Zaha, and just don't think that's going to happen. Um, Roy could be in trouble after this one. I could see Pep absolutely dissecting this team. Could see a rout coming.
I just I might just watch this game instead of Goal Rush on Saturday morning, just to watch Roy after every City goal. Just like looking at the camera, like what the fuck is going on? Why am I not in a home right now? Um, Tough. Going to be a tough spot for my guy Roy Hodgson. But yeah, this is all City. There's nothing to dissect here. I think it's quite clear. They're minus 600. Should that be like longer odds, or is that just the public still not realizing how bad Palace are? I don't know.
I mean, they were minus 700 last week against Luton, right? So,
No, they're minus 1,400.
are you sure?
I'm quite sure, unless we're Luton plus 1,400.
I think so.
Okay, that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think City were minus 700 against
All right,
Luton at Luton. So this is
all right.
at home. I think the number is short, but I think it's like you said. People are giving Palace way too much credit for being
I
better
think
than they are.
people I think people still think that they have Zaha. Might be it.
Well, their team is better than it's performing. I'm convinced of that. I think Olise's a baller.
Well,
I
is
think
Eze
Eze's good.
Eze's been hurt, right?
He has been hurt. Yes.
They depended on him a lot. I remember the game Arsenal played against them. It was all Eze. So I'm sure that's playing a part. Again, I still don't understand the Mark Gahey thing, the center back that everybody loves, and like they suck. So that's a tough one. Maybe they need to put Rob Holding in, something to monitor.
Oh God, I hope not. If Rob Holding plays in this game, then I'll be betting some alt spreads for
If Rob
City.
Holding plays, if we see the starting lineup and Rob Holding starting, we'll put out a live pick City minus 4.5.
Love it.
Okay. So then it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. It's at St. James's Park. It's Newcastle United. It's the Magpies against our Cottagers.
This is a
I don't know, Sam.
tough one.
Do
Tough.
the odds seem fishy?
They do seem a little fishy.
It's that plus 300 spot they give to City, that they give to City's opponents. It's that plus 330, and Newcastle are barely minus 100, and the Cottagers are flying. Double chance deserves a look. I I don't know if we can do Fulham money line. I want to, I really do, but I don't know.
I I'm really uh, we've both been advocates for Fulham for a long time, and they're finally starting to play well. And I just think that we've been early on them. We've made money from them. I think the market hasn't caught up to how good this Fulham team is, and I just think Newcastle aren't that impressive. Um, and a lot of this that makes me hesitant is just how well they play at home compared to away, and that St. James Park is becoming a fortress.
Yeah,
That being
that's what
said,
pushes.
plus 300 for a team that I think is pretty much on a very similar playing field as Newcastle, it's worth consideration.
I would do a half for sure. I would do a half. Like
Okay.
it doesn't. You don't even need to convince me. We owe it to them. I think.
I agree.
Okay, we'll look at it and we'll get back to you. Uh, Burnley hosting Everton, another team that we've been backing that we were early on. The Toffees, they're flying high. They had a ridiculous game against Manchester United 4 match weeks ago. That's the Everton of old. They're nowhere near this relegation scrap. Well, they're 4 points away from it, but they're going to be fine. They're on their way up. They've got Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace in their sights. and this should be no problem.
I like Everton. Automatic. Burnley really did not play that well in that Brighton game. I was frustrated with Brighton because they had 29 shots, 11 on target. They only scored one goal. I think that they could beat Burnley very convincingly in this game. Burnley are just not that good of a side, and Sean Dyche, anytime he's near the relegation scrap, you're basically just giving him a boost. The Everton boys, the Toffees, are going to be buzzing. I think Everton in this spot, they're plus money. I think that's crazy. Uh, I like them a lot in this game.
Isn't Burnley his old team?
Yes.
So revenge spot for Sean Deitch. Um,
And
he
you
wasn't
think Sean
sacked,
Dyche
right?
is going to go in there and not have a revenge speech to all the Toffees? Are you kidding me?
Was was he sacked by Burnley?
Yes. That
Dude,
season that they got
that is
relegated. Remember, like, he got sacked through. He had them in the Prem for that long, and I think they gave him 10 games, something ridiculous. And
what an
everyone was
asshole.
like, "This Burnley, this is not going to fix your problems." You had Sean Dyche, and they had one of the worst point totals that season. The producer's going to look it up for me, but
My
just
my
continue.
what an asshole was directed at whoever is on the board of directors at Burnley to do something like that because Sean Deitch, we're coming in on a year that he's been at Everton, and it's just been all good for me. I mean, aside from the bullshit points deduction, he's been awesome. He came in and they fucking beat Arsenal, and I've been afraid of this Everton side ever since. Arsenal smacked him when they came to the Emirates as a revenge spot, but yeah, that this is a total revenge spot. I don't think Vegas even knows that.
Burnley are 18th. This is from Sky Sports. Sean Dyche sacked as Burnley boss after 10 years at the club. Burnley are 18th in the Premier League table, 4 points from safety. They have won just one of their last 7 games. So yeah, they gave him more time than I thought. But just thinking that sacking him was a good idea, got to be a revenge spot.
After
And
10 years too. Jesus.
yeah, and at the time, this was a universally hated decision. Jamie Carragher said, if you would have given him a decent budget, you would never have to worry about being relegated, Burnley, that's kind of a banger. So I do love that. Yeah, no one liked Burnley after that. Give me Sean Dyche in the biggest of revenge spots.
Let's do it. I'm excited. I didn't really. I was a little nervous when I saw the odds. Maybe it's because it's at Burnley and it's a 6 pointer and they've done okay in the 6 pointers. Now I'm all over it. This is a great shout for Everton plus money here. Then we got West Ham Wolves, and shout out to Dave. Sam, what do you think of the interview earlier this week?
I thought it was great. Dave seems like a very knowledgeable guy. I think we would love to chop it up, me and him, about the Wolves teams of old. Which maybe we'll have to do that one day. So that's something to monitor.
I told him when Wolves play Arsenal, or if anything happens with Wolves in the transfer market, we'll have to have him back in January or even in the summer because we like Wolves and I like them here because the Irons suck and they still suck. And this is a really important game for the Wolves because we talked about it on the last pod. They're only a few spots above them in the table, and I think Wolves are a better side personally from everything I've seen. So like they have better. If this was like March Madness, Wolves have a better resume for sure than West Ham. So I really like Wolves in this spot. A double chance feels right to me.
I think it's pretty insane to be plus 115 against any team after you just get beat 5-0.
I agree. It doesn't really make sense to me, but they're at home and they're 4 spots above the table, so I guess they think that'll get people to pick them.
Yeah, I agree with you. Wolves are definitely an intriguing team this weekend for me as well.
Whoa, rat just just ran across the floor. Oh, never mind. It's Brentford Villa. This game is crazy. Brentford host the Villains in a massive. Sam is dying right now in a massive letdown spot for the villains. They these odds make no sense. So have
It's
a day.
Brentford. It's automatic. No, I guess it's Brentford. I don't know.
I don't know either. I think we totally stay away, but it's it's very interesting where Vegas have put this.
I think hmm, it is a letdown spot, right? I wouldn't say Villa were particularly impressive against Arsenal. Generally in that match,
They were more impressive against City.
but boy, Brentford just haven't been that impressive in general. And I understand that Brentford are also a different beast at home, but man, I those odds are just a huge red flag to me as well. I would have said going in that Villa were minus 185, something like that.
That's where I would have put them, minus 150 to minus 200, somewhere in there, especially after Brentford haven't been that good. They just dropped points to Burnley, right? Or Sheffield? Sheffield. And yeah, so I feel like these odds make no sense, and Vegas just smell fish all over the place in this spot. So I think we just stay away personally. Um, but I'm intrigued to watch on Sunday morning. That's for sure.
Definitely fascinating. May have to throw some cold water on the Villa doing a title challenge if they go and drop points to Brentford.
Watch it. I still have a bit of a soft spot for the Bees. Okay. Um, so then they just save all the fun for the end of the weekend, and Arsenal host Brighton. Wow, Arsenal host Brighton, and Liverpool host Manchester United. So I think this is a chance. Apparently, there's shouts for Partey coming back. Apparently, Timber has just inspired all of the guys to take rehab seriously because I saw reports that Emil Smith Rowe took his recent rehabilitation more seriously than ever, and Partey, who is supposed to not be back until the new year, might be back for this game. That's the reports my producers got in my ear. Brentford Villa and West Ham Wolves also Sunday morning. I just mean these are the last two games on the Google slate, where I get my games from. So Arsenal hosting Brighton. I just think this is all Arsenal, especially if Partey's back. I don't think it's close. The odds are right where I want them to be. Brighton still a public team, and Arsenal are minus 200. Brighton are plus 500. That's begging you for Brighton, in my opinion, for the Seagulls, and we won't be tempted. I'll tell you that much. I love Arsenal in this spot.
Yeah, I also imagine that Mick Arteta has a really bad taste in his mouth for the last season when Brighton came to the Emirates and we lost that game in a game that we needed desperately during the title challenge. I think there's motivation. I think Brighton just drew against freaking Burnley. Yeah, give me Arsenal. And a really injury plagued Brighton. I think Arsenal win this game pretty convincingly.
Yeah, and I believe Brighton have their chance at a get back spot against another one of Sam's teams tomorrow. Sam, they play Marseille.
Oh man. Yeah, give me an Oba goal there, for sure. Yeah, that's an interesting matchup. There will be a lot of goals in that game. I
A,
venture to
a
say.
different a different Sam would go and look at those odds right now and give us one little sneaky pick for tomorrow. But this podcast won't be out by then, so it's fine. Um, yeah, this is all Arsenal. Anything else to add?
No, that's pretty much. I agree with that analysis.
Okay.
Just scroll into Europa League real quick, but you continue talking.
Are you a sicko? um, Liverpool, Man United. Man, Vegas aren't even giving United a chance. And back in the day, I probably would have seen United plus 700 in a rivalry game and just sprinkled it a little bit. But the sprinkle's dead. So, and so are United. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Liverpool are minus 330 at Anfield. I can't imagine there's any drama here.
Okay, I'm a hater of United. I will say that. It's well documented at this point. I've said a lot of things that would show that I'm a documented United hater. Liverpool have not been that good recently.
Wow. Did not expect this take.
And I don't think it's crazy to say that they've been largely unimpressive and some would say lucky. They've scored goals in stoppage time and they struggled to handle a Palace team that I think is one of the worst teams in the Prem at this moment.
You don't think this is their we're top and we're meant to be here game?
I think it could be, but at these numbers, I don't think it's worth that. And
You
I'm
want
not
to take a
gonna.
look at United?
I would consider looking at United double chance in this game. Um,
Okay.
Listen, I dislike United. I think their brand of football is absolutely terrible. I think Eric Ten Hag gives this team no identity. Think he continually plays worse players that he should be playing different lineups. But I just don't think Liverpool have been that good. And I don't think it's that crazy to say. And the reason why, when you talk about the Prem at large, people are just like, oh, wow, Liverpool's top because they haven't been that good. And they've been lucky in a good amount of their games. And eventually that luck has to run out. Um, I don't think it's that crazy for United to go get a result here, especially after last season's 7-0 drop in. I just think if you have any respect for the club that you play for, you have to put out a really big effort in this game if you're a United player.
Yeah, I think they'll be up for it. Sorry, disclaimer, sorry if you're hearing sirens and dogs barking in the background. Santa decided to drive by. Um, I'm glad he's making an appearance. Not surely not busy or anything. Do you like United and draw better than Sheffield and draw?
Hmm,
'Cause I feel like it's got to like it should be one of those two.
I'm not sure yet. Here are some past Liverpool results. I'm just gonna keep cooking.
Okay,
Um, Man City Liverpool 1-1. A game that City were largely the better side. Can we agree on that?
very much so.
Yeah. Um, Liverpool 4, Fulham 3. Fulham famously leading in that game. Took a huge turnaround for them to come back and win that game. Again, kind of rate Fulham, but they're basically, to me, on the same tier as United. Um, Sheffield 0, Liverpool 2. Chris Wilder's first game back. Throw a little cold water. They struggled to score in that game against a bad Sheffield team that didn't have his identity yet. And then Liverpool 2, Crystal Palace 1, a red card that gets them back in that game, and another stoppage time goal. Um, am I crazy to have the idea that United will be in this game?
No, not at all. And the thing is, if not for that red card, Liverpool probably lose against Palace, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I think they're just getting credit for being this juggernaut that I don't think that they are. Um, and that to me makes United intriguing. I also think
Well,
that United may just embrace the scumminess of who they are and just play on the counter exclusively and throw bodies behind a Liverpool side that has struggled to break down teams that have played them that way.
so let's give United one more chance. What are the odds on double chance?
They're loading right now. Um, God, I'm going to be sick. United and draws plus 250.
And that's half a unit.
Okay.
If that hits, that's plus 1.25 units. That's like plus 125. So that we're giving you another chance, United. And all the fans are going to be like, you give us another chance here. This is where you give us the chance against Liverpool. But I think that's good analysis from Sam, and I trust you. So I'll take you through what I've got, and you tell me what you like.
Go ahead, Cook, King.
Okay. Arsenal minus 1.5 over Brighton, plus
Automatic.
Okay. 1 unit. Okay, this one we decided on a different one when we talked pre-pod. But Bournemouth and City are like minus 137, and we want to get that to plus money somehow. And what did we decide on there?
We had Brighton. Um,
No, that's what I had originally. Brighton Arsenal over 1.5 minus 600. But I thought we shifted to Chelsea Sheffield
Under 4.5.
under 4.5. Yeah.
Okay. I'm good to do that. I'll find the odds at some point.
Okay. So that's for the listeners. Bournemouth money line, City money line, Chelsea Sheffield under 4.5. And that's plus money. We don't have the odds yet. And then I have my double chance parlay. I would like to nominate Wolves and draw and Everton and draw. That's plus 111.
Wolves and draw, Everton and draw, plus 111. Yeah, that works for me as well.
And then for the under 3.5 parlay, I have Chelsea Sheffield under 3.5 and Forest Tottenham under 3.5. But we can adjust that. I think you said you'd like something better.
Yeah, I nominated Villa under 3.5 instead to
I'm
make
cool
it
with that. I just don't have the odds.
okay. So Chelsea Sheffield under 3.5, and then Villa Brentford under 3.5 is plus 129. That feels good. Okay, we can do that one. And then I got it right here. It's City money line, Bournemouth money line, Chelsea under 4.5 is plus 109.
Okay, that's great.
And then I'll throw you one. Everton plus 110.
Yeah, 100%.
I just
1,000%.
Sean Dyche.
Is it worth two?
I it may be. I have to look at Everton's past results in away fixtures, but I just feel like Sean Dyche is a much better manager than he's getting credit for, and this team is playing so much better than people are giving him credit for. And if they just had a striker that wasn't Calvert-Lewin, I feel like this team would just be getting so much more respect.
So I'm looking at it right now. Everton's last away fixtures. They beat Forest 1-0. They beat West Ham 1-0. They beat Palace 3-2. They lost to Liverpool in a game that they got a red card in 2-0. And they beat Villa in the EFL Cup 2-1. They beat Brentford 3-1. And they drew Sheffield 2-2. We're going back to August now. So they're fine on the road. There's
Give
no
me
worry there.
Everton. Give me Everton. I don't know if it has to be two, but it's definitely one. Um, so
Let's
that
add
could
it up at the end, see where we're at, and then we can make it 2-1.
okay. Um, Another one that I had that I don't love, but I just want you to tell me that you don't love it as well. Bournemouth minus 1.5 is plus 142. I just think it's such a letdown spot for Luton. Um, as big as that win was for Bournemouth at United, I just don't see them slowing down against this Luton side, and I don't think the number shows that either.
I like it, don't love it.
Okay, all right, then we're good on that. We can hold on that. Um, I'm trying to figure out a way to bet Fulham that makes sense.
You
Because
don't like double chance?
I just
What's plus 1.5?
Fulham and draw is minus money.
I
It's
know,
minus
but
110.
what's plus 1.5? You think? Got to be worse than that then, because
Yeah,
that's
it'll be
plus a half.
worse. It'll be worse than that.
Do we just do half unit on the money line?
No, because we want the draw. We can do Fulham and draw minus 110, and then we'll throw in a goal
You want to
over half a
throw in
goal somewhere.
over half a goal with Arsenal Brighton?
Yeah, we can do any of those games and it'll be fine. Um, yeah, that's fine one. What game do you like the most?
Well, I like the City one for over. half a goal, but that's going to be awful odds. So I would say Arsenal with Brighton.
This is great podcasting.
I'll cut it out.
See, it's only minus 10. We can do minus 104. That's fine.
Do you want to just do minus 110 at that point?
Sure.
Okay. Half unit on that?
Yeah.
All right, so you got to tell us what we got here. I think we got like 7.
Yeah. Okay. Let me run through them. I
And
have...
because we did half on United and draw too, right?
Yes. So,
Okay.
to round up the picks, we have Everton plus 110. Chelsea and Villa, both their games under 3.5, plus 129. We have City money line, Bournemouth money line, Chelsea under 4.5 against Sheffield. That's plus 109. We have Arsenal minus 1.5, plus 134. We have Wolves Everton double chance plus 111. We have United plus 250 for half a unit. And we have Fulham double chance half a unit minus 110.
So that's 7 picks, 6 units. Do you want Everton 2 units or no?
I think I do.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
I green light it. You gave me the green light with the first one. You got it this time.
Come on, you Toffees. Sean Deitch, don't you let me down here. I will be severely upset if Everton let me down here. I put so much faith in you.
Once we found out this is a major revenge spot, I feel like this is a great spot for Everton. So we'll have these out on the Twitter Thursday, right after this pod drops. So Thursday evening, take a look out for that. And let's have ourselves a weekend. I'm excited. I like these. I like this slate a lot, and I like our picks.
I do too. I'm excited. Come on, Fulham. Come through for me.
And Everton. Let's do it. And United. Come on, guys. Get something out of this. I'm just going to give you all the blind faith in the world. So everybody have a safe and fun weekend. Finish your Christmas shopping. I probably should get on that. And we will talk to you early next week where we should have another surprise. We'll see. Keep an eye out.
I'm excited for this United game because I win either way. Either they get a result and we win money, or I get to just shit all over Eric Ten Hag for the fraud that he is.
This is how I win.
This is how I win.